Well, dabblers, the streets are buzzing, the message boards are quaking, and the courthouse rats are whispering.
Lucy does dabble, Lucy does Dabbleverse, she does dabble, Lucy does Dabbleverse, Lucy does dabble.
And today we have a smorgasbord of topics to get to, all relating to Stuttering John, Stuttering John, Stuttering John, and also his lawsuit against Karl and Shuli, which is allegedly based on the right of publicity. As you probably already know, I am not an attorney.
Lucy is a paralegal. Yeah.
I am just a humble little paralegal with an unhealthy fascination for ridiculous lawsuits, questionable property transfers, dragging unwilling children into legal battles, and other top-shelf idiocy. Maybe today we'll even brainstorm a few settlement ideas. Who knows? Chaos is always an option.
We just settled in a boxing ring.
Let's start out with Stuttering John's attorney, Tabber Benedict, who is representing John in the right of publicity case against Karl and Shuli. And as it turns out, Mr. Benedict, whoever the heck he might be, he also might be getting ready to tap out. Bye, John. Bye, John's attorney.
It's not very developed. We're developing that further.
Now, let me be very clear. Nothing is official yet. He has not filed any paperwork saying that he is no longer going to be John's attorney. But when everyone follows this case has the same prediction, yeah, there's usually a reason. Everyone wants out of John's life. Everybody, his friends, his ex-wife, and now his attorney. But this time, it's probably based on professionalism or possibly payments. Who actually knows?
I don't know.
So here's the situation. When an attorney withdraws as counsel, they need to follow a certain procedure. They need to either file a consent to change attorney form with the courts if they are being replaced by another attorney, which might be the case here, or they might need to file a withdrawal of counsel. And Tabber has not done that yet, but the rumor mill says that we should keep an eye on the docket because the man is allegedly packing up his emotional go bag.
And maybe this is a step forward.
And honestly, who could blame him? You can only spell check someone's angry rants for so long before your soul says, you know what? No more.
I mean, my lawyer's on contingency, so
Tabber withdrawing as counsel could be very interesting. Either John agrees to let Tabber stop being his attorney, which honestly might be the smartest thing for John to do so far, or if John refuses, then Tabber is going to have to file a motion asking the court for permission to withdraw as counsel. And those two paths lead to very different kinds of paperwork because of attorney-client privilege. If John consents to saying bye-bye, Tabber, then the filing will almost certainly be a bare-bones notice that says little more than we're done here without giving any reasons for why we're done here. That's because the why is privileged between Tabber and his client. But if John doesn't consent to bye-bye, Tabber, then the motion has to give some explanation to the court while still tiptoeing around that confidentiality. And that's where things can get, let's say, dramatically vague, but still more information than the other option. I think you all know which version I'm rooting for. But seriously, John, your lawyer isn't exactly crushing it out there. If your relationship with Tabber really is going to come to an end, you might want to just sign off and spare yourself the extra spectacle. Or don't. Please don't. Now, it would be totally unethical for Tabber to talk about any of this, but can't you just picture him showing up on MLC the minute that he's free from John? Yeah, Kevin, he's a nightmare of a client. What a fucking idiot! Now, technically, John still has another attorney, his co-counsel, Mr. Bennett Susser. But, and I am trying to say this as politely as possible, we have zero reason to believe that he is going to step up and become lead counsel for this court case. And God forbid that we add to the man's stress level. Susser's already had tons of ailments recently, like blowing out the blood vessels behind his eye, then having his office flooded with 6 inches of sprinkler water, then straining himself while lifting up soggy boxes because of the sprinkler water everywhere, and then waking up with a mystery bruise the size of a grapefruit and eventually discovering that he had straight up ruptured his bicep tendon. There is no reason that I should know all of that information, but Susser straight up filed it with the court.
Why does that sound familiar? I got a wealth of information and my memory is impeccable.
So if Tabber really does leave, then John may be standing alone with no attorney, with only his laptop, a dream, and a blood alcohol level that should technically recuse itself.
Skull! 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 Let's get the party started.
If Tabber withdraws, then John has two options. Hire a new attorney or represent himself pro se, which I think that we could probably establish as Latin for I will regret this if he decides to go with that path. Imagine John using Google Chrome alone on NICEF trying to navigate e-filing. Username, The Real Stuttering John 420. Password, Fuck Lady K 696.
Let's see. How? Step 4. Let's see if I can enhance that. See controls. Increase volume. There we go. Okay, now I got it. Okay, save as that. Okay, now I got that. Let me just move it now. Let me just take this now, and then I'll send it over, and then add that. Let's see.
He's been bragging about wanting to be an attorney.
Are you very passionate about becoming a lawyer?
Yes.
And Johnny boy, I gotta tell you, this is your chance to fail the bar without even taking it.
What do you mean? I went to NYU.
Oh, no, we're talking about law school.
I haven't gone to law.
No, I know. Wait, I don't think you...
Judy, I'm not yelling at you, but I didn't even think about being a lawyer until fucking 4 months ago.
Okay. I don't think drinking alcohol while taking this quiz is a good idea.
I'm sure that the guy who can't upload a YouTube thumbnail will have no trouble mastering civil procedure.
Did you make straight A's throughout elementary school, through high school?
Absolutely not. I didn't care. I just wanted to get laid.
Okay, let's pivot to another big rumor that's been going around. Foreclosure. We can't confirm anything is true, but let the rumors fly? That's half the fun. Plus, these foreclosure rumors reminded me of something that I've been wanting to revisit. The deed to the Dabbler's Den, John's house. Here's what's public record. July 23rd, 2024, John sold the house to his mother for the princely sum of 10 large, aka $10. You dabblers know that, but other people might think it sounds impressive in some way. $1 more than $9. What a steal! We're talking yard sale prices over here. Like buy one Melendez, get one free. Literally nobody wants that. We also know, based on public record, that his mother is paying the property taxes. The deed was subsequently recorded on October 14th, 2025 at 8:33 in the morning in the land records. So what do those things mean? First, let's talk about the cost. $10 may look sketchy, but it's not always or really. This case might be different, but it's not normally a sketchy number. Often when deeding a property to a relative or a partner or somebody like that, even if it's nominal, there has to be some kind of exchange of funds for the contract to be considered enforceable. So a lot of the time people sell properties for very small amounts of money. However, what is interesting is that usually the roles are reversed. Normally, the elder parent deeds what was a childhood home as a gift or inheritance to the child, not the son selling his personal home to his mommy. So why do it? Well, we cannot say for sure, but at the time, John was either expecting or already involved in yet another lawsuit, this time as the defendant against Vince and Bezzy. That story is for another day, and I have already done a full-length Lucy Does Dabbleverse episode on that lawsuit, so you can check that out. I will link it down below. But for now, let's just say that it is a very coincidental time period to offload assets to anything that John didn't want to be taken away. And then at that same time, his mom's name popped up as a new record owner to a house. A very large asset. Again, this could all be speculation, but it could certainly be seen as a possible explanation. Now, don't worry, John, I'm not going to dox you, but I do have the deed in front of me, and what the hell? Let's just Google this address and see what's doing. Oh, I must have typed that wrong. Oh, another typo. Oh my God. All right, it must be me. It can't possibly be that John is this dumb. That would be no. Oh, Jesus Christ, he's got his own address wrong. Just like how Tabber gets his own name wrong.
It felt like they weren't even spell checking them.
Are these morons infecting each other with hive stupidity? Just how wrong is the address? Well, I could show you this document that I'm looking at, completely unredacted, and it wouldn't be considered doxing for two reasons. One, it's public record, and two, the address that he put does not actually exist. He combined his old address in Canoga Park with the Florida address. For fuck's sake. I don't care to speculate on how or why. This man is retarded. So was this transfer shady or was it just sloppy? Was it John? Yes, it was. And as ever with this idiot, we will never know if it's stupidity or maliciousness. You get to be the judge on this one. But here's one thing. If he failed to pay the mortgage, seeing his mother's name on the deed wasn't motivation enough for him to clean up his act. If he is in foreclosure, that's on her now, and that's fucked up. He loves his family though, right? He would never do anything to hurt them. That leads us perfectly into our next topic, John's kids. showing up in his court filings within the lawsuit where Johnny Boy is again suing Karl and Shuli over this right to publicity. You'd think that his kids would come up because somebody else brought them up, right? Some monster, some villain, some YouTuber, some podcaster. Nope, it was John. Impossible, you might say. John has repeatedly and vehemently told everybody and their mother to stop talking about his kids.
All right, well, can we not talk about my kids and where they are?
But there it is, in filing after filing. He's the one who drags them in.
And for a person with kids to do that, you have zero morals.
Document 31, document 29, again and again, every motion, all him. He keeps bringing his kids into it. It's like he's filing motions titled, "Your Honor, please leave my kids alone. Now, here are their names, ages, schedules, and a map to where they are currently."
And you know that Mark was with me when Susanna gave birth to our first kid, right?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and Mark Ruffalo and I went to get Susanna McDonald's.
John, I'm talking directly to you now. Your children have nothing to do with your right to publicity. You brought them into this lawsuit, and now they might be called as witnesses, called to answer questions that neither you nor them want to hear the answers to. And honestly, I don't want to hear those answers either. I'm sad enough for you. They might be called in during discovery, in which case you are going to be the one to have to prove what you said in the paperwork, which is that defendants also played tapes that divulged his oldest son's otherwise confidential health-related physical and emotional problems, which caused estrangement between plaintiff and his son to the present day. Can you prove that? It's the Streisand effect in full force, but this time with the penalty of perjury looming over John's head. And why, John? Over a cause that they want no part of? Think about what you've placed permanently into the records of the New York County Supreme Court. Available to anybody in 4 clicks or less until the end of time, John. Let that sink in before you make your next move. You dumb fuck.
You dumb, stupid fuck.
Now that I'm thoroughly distraught thinking about all of the people that John has actually hurt, I think our only option is to talk about ways that John could possibly convince the guys to settle, which we all know isn't going to happen.
Yeah, and there's no going back, and fuck him, fuck you. Why would I settle with you over anything? You're a horrible person. You've done horrible things. You've said horrible shit. You bring people's families into this shit. You just cross every line possible because you cannot verbally fight back and goof on somebody. You're inept because your brain is in a fucking pool of beer.
Although if John withdrew the lawsuit, since it's been so heavily focused on the Kate Meany tapes, perhaps the defendants might be willing to not talk about anything that he does offline. When we talk about settlement, we know that John's ultimate goal is to silence Karl and Shuli. He doesn't want them talking about him anymore, which is exactly what SLAPP is supposed to prevent. But that's, again, we've already talked about that, so we're not talking about that today. What about, though, if John withdrew the lawsuit and the defendants, Karl and Shuli, agreed not to talk about anything he does offline? John's been so fixated within the lawsuit about the tapes. That's what he's so upset about, right? That they played the tapes. They played the tapes that Kate Meany privately recorded, which was illegal, according to him. That has not actually been determined, so he can't actually say that. But that could give John the power to control the narrative, and it would make it funnier for all of us when you inevitably are a boob. And it might just be as simple as that. If you didn't like him playing the tapes, drop the lawsuit about it. Again, I don't know that Karl and Shuli would agree to that, but it's interesting. Before we go, don't forget to support Karl and Shuli's legal defense fund on fightthedabbler.com. And yes, of course, the next court date is still scheduled for December 16th. Probably nothing is going to happen then. But you should still stay tuned because we are going to be asking the heavy-hitting questions like, will Tabber stay or will he go? Will John really become his own attorney? Will the Dabbler's Den remain in the Dabbleverse? We'll find out soon on A Quickie with Lucy.
On the next
Quickie with Lucy, I'll wonder if anyone has heard my pleas for reason and sanity within the Dabbleverse. Oh my God, are they ever going to shut the fuck up? Why the hell are they still arguing? And what the hell are they even arguing about at this point? Whatever.
Let's go!
Let's go.
One thing's for sure.
John's sons.
Con stinks! Yeah, yeah!
John's son.
Con stinks! Yeah, yeah! Whoa!
I'm the lawyer.